All right, let's dive in. Today, we're tackling something truly mind-boggling. The Sanxingdui civilization. And you guys have given us a real mixed bag of sources here.
Yeah, a bit of everything.
We've got news from CNN and El Cronista.
Some travel tips from KLM's website, of all things.
Even a Wikipedia entry. And, oh, something from Spacey Mysterio. That one caught my eye.
It's a real grab bag, but that's what makes this deep dive so interesting. We get to see the Sanxingdui from all these different angles.
Exactly. I mean, we're talking about a civilization that just appears seemingly out of nowhere with incredibly advanced art and technology.
And then that vanishes.
Poof, gone. So who were these people? Where do they come from? And what can their artifacts tell us about their beliefs, their rituals, their whole way of life?
It's a puzzle with so many pieces, and we're only just starting to put it together.
Well, let's start with what we do know. The story begins back in the 1920s.
A farmer digging a ditch.
So stumbles upon a cache of jade relics. You'd think that would have set off alarm bells, but...
It certainly sparked interest, but the real bombshell dropped much later in 1986.
That's when they unearthed the sacrificial pits.
Exactly. 2 pits crammed with literally thousands of artifacts. Bronze, gold, jade, pottery, all meticulously arranged, broken, and burned. It's an image that just screams ritual, a glimpse into beliefs we're only beginning to grasp.
Let's talk about those bronze masks. I mean, they're striking, to put it mildly. Angular features, those exaggerated, almost alien eyes.
And some even have traces of paint.
Oh, right, like makeup.
Not just any paint, though. Black around the eyes and vermilion, a vivid red on the lips, nostrils, and ear holes. Corinne de Bain-Frankfurt, a French sinologist, has a fascinating interpretation of this. She suggests these colors were offerings for the head to taste, smell, and hear, connecting the senses to the afterlife.
That's a really interesting idea, connecting the physical senses to the afterlife.
Exactly. And when you compare this to other cultures of the time, like the Shang dynasty, the use of vermilion in this specific way sets the Sanxingdui apart.
Right, their own distinct thing. So we're seeing a hint of a belief system that's completely different, right?
Precisely. And the masks are just the tip of the iceberg. The variety of bronze objects found at Sanxingdui is astonishing. A life-sized human statue, a towering bronze tree decked out with birds and flowers, birds with these fierce eagle-like beaks, even what looks like a wheel.
Really? A wheel? That early?
It's more likely a decorative element for a shield, but the craftsmanship is undeniable. The scale and complexity of these bronzes are a testament to the Sanxingdui's advanced metallurgical skills.
And all this is happening around the same time as the Shang dynasty, which was known for its own incredible bronze work.
Yes, but the Sanxingdui style is so distinct, almost alien in comparison. It really challenges our understanding of Chinese art history.
Like a whole other branch of artistic development happening at the same time. And then they disappear, just vanish. What happened?
That's the million-dollar question. Was it a natural disaster? The articles mention flooding and earthquake evidence.
Invasion. Or something else. Maybe that's where Spatio Mysterio comes in, with the more speculative theories.
Maybe. But even if we stick to what we know, the Sanxingdui artifacts offer us a window into their cosmology, their understanding of the universe.
The KLM website mentions those 4 symbolic animals of Chinese cosmology. The azure dragon, the vermilion bird, the white tiger, and the black tortoise. I'm guessing they found those represented in the artifacts.
They're incredibly prominent in Sanxingdui art. And these animals aren't just random creatures. They represent cardinal directions, the seasons, elements.
So it seems they shared a common understanding of the cosmos, maybe even a shared origin, with the broader Chinese world.
That's one interpretation. But then there's the question of the new discoveries. Those are really shaking things up. Both El Cronista and Spatio Mysterio talked about them.
Right, from 2021. A 3,000-year-old gold mask, jade tools, ivory relics, a bronze sculpture of a snake with... Wait, was it a human head?
That's the one. And each of these new finds adds another layer to our understanding, a new piece to the puzzle. But as we get closer, it almost feels like we're also getting further away.
Closer to the details, maybe, but further from the big picture. Like we're looking through a keyhole at this vibrant, complex world, but we can't quite grasp its entirety. And then it's gone.
It's the allure of the unknown, the mystery that keeps us digging, keeps us asking questions. The Sanxingdui might be gone, but their story is far from over. Makes you realize, doesn't it, how much we think we know, and then boom, something like the Sanxingdui pops up and turns everything upside down.
Yeah, it really makes you question those old narratives, those textbook versions of history.
Hmm.
So we've talked about their artistry, their rituals, even their cosmology.
Right.
But what about their daily lives? I mean, what kind of society did these people actually build?
Well, the evidence we have suggests a pretty complex, pretty stratified society, and a very carefully structured one. The city at Sanxingdui wasn't just some random village, it was planned out,
Yeah.
with different districts for living, working, worship.
So they had city planners, engineers.
It seems so. Sophisticated urban development, especially for a Bronze Age civilization.
So we're not just talking about skilled artists. This is a whole different level of organization. Does the evidence give us any clues about their social structure? Was it a monarchy? A theocracy? Maybe?
It's hard to say for sure, but those huge bronze figures, especially that 8-foot-tall giant, they certainly suggest a powerful ruling elite.
Okay.
And the sheer number of ritual objects in those pits, the emphasis on sacrifice, it hints at a strong religious element, perhaps even a system of priest-kings.
Where the religious and political power were all mixed up, like we see in so many other ancient cultures. Okay, that makes sense. But what about the everyday people? The ones who weren't the bigwigs? What do we know about their lives?
It's always harder to get a clear picture of the everyday folks, but there are clues. We know they were skilled farmers. I mean, the irrigation systems they built at Sanxingdui, they were really intricate. And we found agricultural tools, everyday things like that, alongside the fancier stuff. Pottery, jade carvings, bone tools. Each one a little window into how they lived.
So we're seeing a society with specialized labor, some kind of hierarchy, a connection to both the practical and the spiritual. Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
But did they have a written language? And how did they interact with other cultures? Were they totally isolated or?
Those are some of the biggest questions still out there. And so far, we haven't found any evidence of a written language at Sanxingdui.
Which makes it pretty tough to decipher their beliefs and social structures.
Sure, exactly. It's like trying to understand a whole conversation based on just a few random words. And those words, even the fragments we do have, they're pretty extraordinary. Those bronze masks, for example, those exaggerated features, those bulging eyes. It's a look we don't really see anywhere else in ancient Chinese art.
It's kind of eerie, isn't it? Like they
Yeah.
were tapping into a different artistic, maybe even a spiritual current, but they were also connected to the broader Chinese world, right? Like we talked about, that shared cosmological symbolism. Plus, there were trade goods from other regions found at the site.
Right. They weren't completely isolated. They were part of a bigger network, a cultural exchange happening over a huge area. And that's what makes studying ancient civilizations so fascinating. It's all about piecing together these little bits and pieces, to try and get a sense of the bigger picture.
Exactly. Speaking of piecing things together, let's talk about those recent discoveries. The ones from 2021. The El Cronista and Espacio Misterio articles both mention them.
Right.
That gold mask, the jade tools, the bronze sculpture of a snake with a human head. What are those telling us?
Well, that gold mask is pretty special. It's the largest, most complete gold mask ever found at Sanxingdui. And the craftsmanship, the amount of gold they used, it really tells you something about the wealth and sophistication of the Sanxingdui elite. And the fact that it was found in a sacrificial pit with all those other precious objects.
Reinforces that idea of ritual and sacrifice being really central to their culture, right?
Absolutely. And the jade tools, well, they give us a peek into their everyday craftsmanship. Axes, knives, chisels, ornaments, such a variety of tools. And then there's that bronze sculpture, the snake with a human head.
I've got to say, that was pretty creepy.
It is, isn't it? And snakes are often associated with the supernatural in ancient Chinese mythology. So this could be a deity, a mythical creature, something bridging the human and the divine. It's a haunting image for sure.
It really is. Okay, so we've covered a lot here. Their history, their art, their beliefs, even their disappearance. It's a lot to take in. But before we move on, I want to go back to something you said earlier, the idea that every new discovery basically rewrites our understanding of the past. What does that mean for the future of Sanxingdui research? What's next?
It's a great question, and it's what keeps archaeology so exciting. I mean, they're still actively excavating the Sanxingdui site. New discoveries are happening all the time. Just recently, they found evidence of these huge architectural complexes, suggesting the civilization was even bigger than we thought.
Wow.
And with new technology coming out all the time, ground-penetrating radar, DNA analysis, Who knows what we'll find in the next few years?
It's really mind-blowing to think that the story of the Sanxingdui is still unfolding. There's still so many chapters to be written, so many mysteries to uncover.
Exactly. It's what keeps us digging, keeps us asking questions. It's a constant dialogue with the past.
Like, we're all detectives, in a way. Yeah. Trying to piece together the biggest mystery of all, the mystery of where we come from. And the Sanxingdui, they're definitely one of the most intriguing cases we've got.
No doubt about it.
Well, I think that's about all the brain-bending information we can handle for one sitting. But the conversation doesn't end here. In Part 3, we'll explore the broader implications of the Sanxingdui discoveries and what they tell us about the nature of civilization itself. Stay with us.
You know, as we've been going through all this stuff about the Sanxingdui, I keep thinking about how much they challenge our assumptions about ancient civilizations. Like, we tend to think of ancient China as this one unified thing, right? But the Sanxingdui, they really shake that up.
They do, don't they? Their art, the rituals, their whole bronze-making mastery, it all points to a very distinct, very independent civilization that was thriving in Sichuan thousands of years ago.
Yeah, it's like they were on this totally different track, developing alongside the civilizations we typically associate with, the Yellow River Valley, but not really part of them. A separate evolutionary path. And it really makes you wonder, if the Sanxingdui could develop such a sophisticated culture independently, what other lost civilizations are out there waiting to be found? What other stories are we missing?
It's kind of an exciting thought and a bit humbling too, right? Like, we were completely clueless about the Sanxingdui until just a few decades ago. What else is buried out there just waiting to rewrite history as we know it?
It really underscores the importance of keeping an open mind, questioning what we think we know, and just being open to the possibility that there's a lot more out there than we realize.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about those sacrificial pits for a minute. Thousands of objects, all broken and burned. What can we learn from that about how the Sanxingdui saw the world?
Well, the sheer scale of the offerings is pretty amazing. I mean, to sacrifice so many valuable things, it suggests a deep reverence for the supernatural, maybe a belief that rituals had the power to influence the gods or appease the ancestors.
So maybe the breaking and burning were symbolic acts, like releasing the spirits of the objects or something. But what were they hoping to achieve with all this? A good harvest, protection from evil.
It's hard to say for sure. We can only speculate. But it's obvious that these rituals were hugely important to them. And it's not just the act of sacrifice itself. It's the specific things they chose to sacrifice. Bronze masks, weapons, figures, alongside jade ornaments and ritual vessels. It's a mix of the everyday and the sacred, the human and the divine.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. It's not just about religion, is it? Maybe these rituals were also about reinforcing social order. Strengthening the power of the elite.
Right, and expressing shared values and beliefs, bringing the community together. Rituals can serve so many purposes, creating order, connecting with the past, helping people deal with the unknown. These pits, they offer a glimpse into the very core of Sanxingdui culture, a culture that was deeply spiritual, intensely ritualistic, and very much connected to the natural world.
It's incredible, isn't it? To think that we can get these little glimpses into a lost world just by studying the things they left behind. A world that was both familiar in some ways and totally alien in others.
Exactly. And even though we may never fully understand the Sanxingdui or know exactly why they did what they did, their artifacts give us a window into this lost world. A world that thrived and then vanished, leaving us with more questions than answers.
And I think that's the beauty of archaeology, isn't it? That lets us connect with the past, learn from those who came before us, and appreciate how incredibly diverse human experience really is.
I couldn't agree more. It's a reminder that we're all connected across time and space by this shared human story.
Well, what a journey. We've covered a lot of ground here, from art and cosmology to rituals and the mysteries surrounding their disappearance. But as we wrap up our deep dive into the Sanxingdui, what's the one big takeaway you hope our listeners will walk away with?
I think it's the importance of staying curious, questioning assumptions, and always being open to new ideas and new interpretations. The Sanxingdui are a perfect example of how we can't always rely on those neat, tidy narratives. The past is messy, it's full of surprises, and there's always more to learn.
Absolutely. The Sanxingdui story isn't over. It's still unfolding, and who knows what amazing discoveries are still waiting to be made. Maybe one of our listeners, inspired by this conversation, will be the one to make the next big breakthrough, the next discovery that rewrites history. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep. Thanks for joining us.